Okay, good afternoon, folks. Hope everyone is well. Where are we? Market is okay. We're about a minute from the open. So, what have we got overnight? Now, I've got two slightly different pictures here, more or less saying the same thing. We seem to have got a breakout here on the right chart, on the main chart, but on the left chart, there's two wicks. So that looks okay to me, I think, on the left chart. So I'm not assuming it's that, so we'll just kind of see how we get on. So, Karina, good morning to you. Beach Bum, how you doing? So, market is open in about 30 seconds. So, whether this is two attempts to go lower and the market's going to move up, who knows? So, as you know, now I am trading oil, and there is some oil news which we got to pay attention to. I got caught out on it once before, maybe 12 months ago. So I check every day now, and I've sort of put it in big bold letters so I don't forget. And I've also changed Jan's news app there just to include low impact news, just for the sake of the crude oil inventories. So market is open. Let's see where price takes us today. So it's been really quiet for me the last couple of weeks. I've barely taken a trade, and that seems to go to go with the same from a lot of other traders I'm spoken to as well. They tend to do the same. But now, orders I can see on Bookmap, there are some just under 70, which is here. My guess is this may go down. So maybe there's a break here or something. I don't know. I'm not too sure. But there's sellers around here, so it's hard to say. So I'd like to see someone else's chart just to see. Speedy, how you doing, pal? Day off again today? Let me see if I can see someone else's chart. I just want someone else's opinion on this. I haven't got it as yet. No, nothing as yet. Now, there was a second entry short on the CL chart, but we'd already made a break, in my opinion, and two legs to a new low, so I was leaving this alone. That could have quite easily triggered you and stopped you out, so I'll let that go. So, I'd say there's probably just a little more than a measured move, but two legs down nonetheless. We need to get above that EMA strong, and then maybe a second entry short there. So let me just check on this liquidity up here. So 72.5 is the highest I can see at the moment. That's there. I need something a bit higher. It is starting to move up. I need something telling me price is likely to get dragged up. There is some at 75. It's just not strong enough at the moment. Daryl, how you doing, bud? I've started a job. Good on you, mate. Little Hammer, how you doing, pal? So, got to be careful here. There's orders above and below. Could go up, could come down. Now, these legs are quite broad. You can't really confuse these with a downtrend. It just doesn't work. Although Mac may. He does some odd trends nowadays, but I need something a little bit. Now, this one maybe could. Possibly. I don't know. Now, if we have got something like that, my guess is that's probably something like a bull flag, but I'd expect prices to move up. I just need some orders slightly higher than this. I need to have some distance to travel. At the moment, the strongest orders I can see are around about the 71, which is there. It's just not high enough. That's telling me we may go up, trigger some bulls, and then come down. So I got to be just a little bit careful here. That doesn't look too bad to me, which means we may come down. Now, there's going to be traders thinking this is going up, and it may well. But it's hard to tell here. On the left chart, it fits nice. On this chart, we've had a clear break here, but that seems a bit easy. So let me just remove some of these because this is confusing me. So a little over 70, let's say about 71, maybe a little over 70. There are sellers. They're creeping up now to 72.5 above there. I'd love to see someone's opinion on this chart. I haven't seen anywhere yet. Okay, so I think there's that one, I think. Either way, we've had matching highs. I think that's good enough. Still got to be a bit careful. It's a bit congested. So I'm going to put that like that. Not sure about this. If we had a clear break, but there is, after 2 legs down, I tell you now, there'll be traders going long there or looking to go long. So there is a little short-term trend up there, which I'd expect a new high, and that's why we've got orders up here. So let me have a look. They're disappearing. 67.5 strong. Shorts are there. A little bit higher, actually. So also got a little range here. So another leg up there. They'll break out of here and then a drop. It's hard to say at the moment because they're quite broad. It could go higher. I'm not so sure at the moment. See, I got mixed messages here. Someone's got it like that. Someone's got it the same as my other chart. So it's hard to say, really. And if it's not super clean, Jeffrey, how you doing, buddy? If it's not super clean, we've got to be a little bit cautious. What is that doing there? Okay, it is coming down. So we had a nice channel down there. Unfortunately, you can't take that. It's just congested to hell. That could get you in real trouble there. Unfortunately, it has moved down. So, let me have a look. So really, yesterday, for the most part, was more or less ranging. So I think there is a slightly. Oh, well, no, I think it's more sideways at the moment. It looks like the start, maybe. Something of the same. Now, I think that is a bit too shallow. It's hard to say. Maybe it doesn't look so bad. Tough one. So there are buyers around the 52.5 area, which we're more or less at now. Oh, there we go, right to it. So, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm just going to draw overnight highs, overnight lows. Now, this could just be range tops. Possible something like that. It's hard to say at the moment. How many do I use in the current market? ATR's quite up today, but normally I just use a flat 3. So my stop loss is whatever that signal bar is. Now, obviously, that's the difficult thing about trading Pats is you can't keep exactly the same. I know some traders will say always keep your stop, your risk the same, but trading this style with Pats, if I entered that signal bar there, that's where my risk would be. One tick below, one tick above. In this case, too large. And then I go for a flat 3 points. Now, the ATR is a bit high. Market has recently just sort of kicked off mainstream market. So I'm guessing it's probably going to settle a little bit. It was relatively high yesterday, but usually that first kind of 15 minutes or so, it is a little higher than normal. It does kind of bounce around, traders getting out positions for the rest of the day. So, uh, uh, I am going to adjust that there. I think I actually like that. That is right. Let's have a look. By the time that comes down, that's going to fit in a nice place. Yes, we've got a channel with a break, 2 legs up, and this is where the channel started. So I like that. Fits nice on there as well. But I can go a little bit tighter and bring this a little bit down so it marries up nicely with this. So 57 3/4. There are sellers. 57 3/4, about there. Now, if this is the bottom of the channel, we're starting to come away. My guess is we're going to have a break here. So you can see that we're coming away here. So I'm going to take a stab in the dark here and say, I think price will break out of here. Captain, how you doing, buddy? I chased that down as a fell long. Right. I'm getting old. Along with trend, big red bar within 400 of past 100 Good on you, mate. That one there. Yeah, the way that dropped, I think there's a fair chance this is going to this is going to move down. Let's see if my breakout prediction is right. We'll soon see now. Okay, this is where we'll get a break now. He says famous last words. This is where I expect aggressive buyers to climb up. Come on, don't make me look bad. Buy. Buy, buy, buy. Stay patient, please. Absolutely. They don't get any more patient than me. I've took one trade in the last week and a half. So we're going to get a little jump out the channel now. That bare bar there, I wouldn't touch that. It's way too far there. It's going a bit sideways here. We're coming away from this channel. So come on, don't make me look bad. Up you get. Usually I'm pretty right with these. Maybe not this time, Rodian, how you doing, pal? How you doing? Okay, we're on this line again. See where this goes. So we had sellers there. It's probably a bit too high now. Obviously not paying attention to what I'm saying. Good on you, mate. Okay, here's the break. I'm guessing it was coming. You can clearly see we're working away there. Uh, so I'm looking for some shorts up here. So where have I got sellers? They're all around this area, so they're not huge. Ben, how you doing, buddy? Yeah, sorry, I haven't changed the what's it. I'll do it later. Yeah, it's an 80% off. I'm not exactly sure. Now that's interesting. I'm not exactly sure what the cost of the rest of it is. I'll have to find out. For it's usually on a. See if I've got an email. A bit slow actually. I noticed they left. In fact, after hours they left. They left. I'll find it. It's usually in the junk. Yeah, it is. Okay, so 80% off. Oh, and $65. Yeah, so it's more or less the same, but it's 80% off instead. Can't take a short just yet here. We have had a break, I think, but I need something a little bit better. Now, I can't see. Be a bit careful here. Let me just take a picture of this. It's just nothing at the moment. We need a lower high. Okay, there is a lower high there. Trouble is, it's a little bit congested here, so you've got to be a bit careful. Now, there's always the possibility that we haven't had a new high there, so I'm just going to have to sit tight. There's nothing I can do, unfortunately. I've got a fair idea where it's likely to go, but you've still got to be a bit careful. See if we get maybe see if we get a failure here. Now, in all fairness, it's probably going to be something like that, but it be uh, could be one channel, so it's not super clear. So I have to be a little careful here. It's a little bit stacked up here. It's just not super clear. I think there's a good chance it's going to go down, but it's the bigger the move, usually the bigger there. So we're down about 40 points. So we may get another attempt here. It's hard to say. So nothing I can do at the moment, really. It's just picture's a bit naff. So many times now, it just does this, doesn't give us a picture and just dropped, which is a bit of a pain. Let me just change that apex thing. Otherwise, I don't want people wasting time trying to. So it's 80% off. PA fee. When does it end? When do you end? 23rd. So it ends. '23rd. Woof, woof, woof. What's going on here? Oil's bouncing around like crazy. It's just rocketed down. We haven't got any news for a while, so I'm not sure what's caused that. We just went bum, bum, bum. Who knows? What do I know? Let me just change this. Just got to be careful. Keep my eyes peeled as well. So if I delete that one and that one and add some file, get rid of these. Delete. Download that. There's nothing I can do here at the moment. Sorted. Yeah, so it's basically the same as the one we had yesterday. Instead it's 80% off instead. Right, so that's why you got to be careful getting in there. Two nice legs up. That's very tempting, but I'm going to wait for a lower high. It may just rocket down two legs up. My only slight concern is we've got sellers at 60, which is there. It's actually right at the top there, and there's some at 62, so I would have to leave that. There is a lower high there, but it's a little bit stacked up. So the only safe option is to leave this. I'm going to have to wait for a failure. Second entry long failure. Let's see what happens. Okay, see if this is a failure. Now they're two broad legs. I'd like to see that trigger and give us a failure. Trouble is, we've still got orders up here, but that doesn't matter if we get enough aggressive sellers here. I would have had to leave that first one because that looks like in that channel to me. So come on, give us a failure. I know that it's going to. Okay, maybe we get one here. Tick above, come on.
Order submitted.
Ooh, something about this I don't like. No, I'm leaving this.
Order canceled.
Doji anyway. It's just a little bit. I prefer it to come up a little bit higher. Got to be a little bit careful here. So sellers there. Well, they were there 7.5. They've just been eaten up. 62 we've got. 60 there are some. This is looking like yesterday. We did this yesterday. We had this kind of pull down and it went like that before it dropped. After that big move down, I was looking at two legs. My guess price was going to come down, but it went up for a third leg. This is doing the same thing. So let me just see how far this has gone. Okay, so we've crept up to that 50% line. We're not far off it. So, 62.5. So let me just. Tell a lie, it's a bit higher than that. Yeah, it's just a little bit riskier. What time are we? Tell you what, our favourite bricklayer. I'm even surprising myself with my patience, to be honest with you. I mean, I've taken one trade in a week and a half. I don't think I've ever done that. But I've got to say, lately, this last kind of maybe few months, I've definitely felt the only way I can describe it is I feel at peace. It sounds a bit corny, but that's how I kind of feel towards trading now. I don't feel like I'm fighting with it anymore or battling with it. I've just got to play the game. Uh, my only sort of the only question I've got is why the hell has it taken me 5 years to realize that? It's odd, isn't it? Why fight the markets for 5 years, only one day just to turn around and go, that's it. Maybe that's how it works. Uh, the trouble is there's no kind of rule book really, is there? There's no simple answer. We all kind of hear, you've got to change your mindset, but no one really knows how to do it or when to do it. Bear me a second. Yeah, no one really kind of shows us, what we got to do. Uh, Now, I've said for a while now, there's one thing I've said for a while, which I don't believe I've ever heard from anyone else. We You get loads of people saying you need to change your mindset, but no one really explains how or when or, you know, and I kind of don't get it. But for me, the only simple answer is that you need to expose yourself to the emotions on a daily basis for long enough till your kind of brain becomes kind of settled and gives up trying to fight it. Now, I've said this before. The easiest way I can describe it is if you went out the house in your bare feet, by the end of the day, your feet would be cut to shreds. But 3 months later, walking around in your bare feet, you'd have big, thick calluses on your feet. So what I'm saying is, you adapt. Now we know we can see we can see a physical change when we adapt. If you went to the gym or you lost weight and that, but obviously changing the mind, you kind of there's no kind of clear indication on a monthly or even a quarterly basis that I've noticed. Obviously, now when I've been trading a period of time, I can look back and think about what I used to do. But that's the difference with the body, that you can clearly see change, but with the mind, not so straightforward. Okay, so yesterday we had that. We had three legs up and then a push down. But the trouble is, once we get that third leg up, you start questioning yourself: is there a channel? Now I know Marco said yesterday. He noted this. He said he was playing. I think it was yesterday or the day before. He was playing both sides, so possibly up or down. And it did go up with the break and then come down. So you still got to be a bit careful here. Uh, it's just not straightforward, really. So there's just not much I can do here. Uh, uh, it's all about the bollocks. I'm assuming there's supposed to be an O there, isn't it? It's all about the bollocks. Second chart, end of day, deselected, correct. Uh, Sometimes now, someone told me as long as there's a 500 tick difference, which there clearly is, there's 1,000 tick there, that's fine. But sometimes, for some godforsaken reason, they're both more or less the same. So if that happens to you, try going in and changing the amount of days you load and see if that helps. But I never had a problem for a while, and then all of a sudden, I'm thinking, why the charts looking the same? But all that does, if the context is good, but the signal bar's poor on one of your charts, you've got a backup. Uh, So, yeah. Sniper 2 minutes. I don't know about a sniper. Aren't snipers supposed to hide in trees and be patient? He's running out with a machine gun and spraying and praying, I think. Sounds more like. Yeah, being an ex-military man, you should be patient, Kurt. You should be sitting there in the shadows. No one knows you're there. And you just literally spring out. See, being a military bloke, I think really you should know the word of patience more than anybody, really, because mind you, I suppose it depends what you do in the military, doesn't it? But as a pilot, so you're a pilot, aren't you? Surely you wait till you get down to the runway before you pull back on the stick. You can't be impatient there, can you? You pull back without getting enough airspeed. You're in all sorts of problems, aren't you? Well, you probably just won't get off the ground. Channel down, 2 little ticks up. It's not good enough for me, that, to go short. It's already at the bottom. If I'm going to go short there, I'd rather get up a little bit. December, Christmas month. Yeah, someone mentioned yesterday that Christmas. I mean, this is my 5th Christmas I've been through. So you tend to forget from year to year. Sniper or sniper. Sometimes you're the hunter, sometimes you're the sniper. Yeah. So 54. There are sellers about 54 there. Yeah. I would want to get above this, really. This, I think, now, regardless of what it does, but this, getting in here somewhere, I think is a little bit premature. Now, it doesn't mean it can't just push down, but it's a little bit congested and a little bit weak. So I wouldn't get into this. You may call it a failure. You're not trapping any real longs here. I can't see someone going long here. These bars are a bit vacant. But I wouldn't be surprised if we did have a push-up, took out any any premature ejaculators. I said, yeah, not the best. Anybody in a little bit premature, you know what I mean, there, maybe get them out. But sometimes it'll just work. The poorest setup on the planet can work sometimes. But my New Year's goal is to become one of the cool kids with 20 PAs. And also, you put it on your Christmas list to Santa that you want Guardian Angel Trader. Get that under your tree for Christmas morning and start the new year with some protection. Yeah, absolutely. That's what you need. Talking about snipers, did you see that? What the hell happened in Sydney? Was it Sydney? You mean a Bondi Beach? I'm assuming that's what you mean, unless there's been something I know. Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it? World's a crazy place. Mind you, that guy that took the gun off him, disarmed him, he held his patience. I think my first instinct was to make sure he was, he couldn't do any more, because he actually ran back, grabbed another weapon and started firing more, didn't he? So I think the safer option would have been to shoot that guy, or at least shoot him in the legs or something. At least to stop him. I think I'd have been more inclined to go over to him and deck him with the gun barrel if I didn't want to shoot him, but I certainly wouldn't want to take the risk that he got up and ran off. But yeah, fair dues the guy. He actually got shot himself, didn't he? A few times in the arm. So he was lucky. Very lucky. I mean, you never quite know how you're going to react in a situation like that. I mean, I was in a petrol station once, about 25 miles from where I live. And I was actually in the shop. Exactly. I was actually in this shop buying something, and I was leaning down behind one of the shelves, and I heard a massive crash. First thing I thought, shotgun. And I looked round the end of this counter, and I looked at the guy and the girl that were behind there, and I went, what the hell was that? And they said a car smashed into the front of the doors. And then all of a sudden I heard loads of revving, and the car reversed and smashed into a petrol pump. And the guy and the girl behind the counter, they went out the door and ran off. So when I got out the door, managed to wedge the door open properly, I could see it was an old guy, and it turned out he was driving an automatic car. He sped off the petrol pump as the car had gone forward. He hit this, smashed into the front doors, and then obviously tried to reverse. And as the car shot back, his foot went down, and he ploughed into one of the petrol pumps, and the petrol pumps was starting to smoke, and there was petrol or whatever it was leaking out all over the floor. And you never quite know what you're going to be react. And I ran over to the car. I could see he was an old guy, and he could barely get out the car. So I literally opened the door, scooped him up, and dragged him away. And the thing could have gone up. So you never quite know how you're going to react in a situation like this. I always thought I might have been one of the ones that ran off, but I opened the door and said, "You're going to have to get out." He was in his 90s. So the quicker option was just to so I literally got my hands under his arm and dragged him off. But you just, well, you say hero, I could have blown up, couldn't I? But you never know how you're going to react. That was about 10 years ago, that was. You never quite know how you're going to react. And within about 5-6 minutes, the fire service had rung and doused everything in foam or whatever it was, this foam looking stuff. And that was kind of the end of that. But I suppose the worst scenario is you may have been walking through that front door when he decided to play for it. But they didn't prosecute him. They just took his license off him. He was an old guy. I mean, he was proper old. He could barely stand up. So we've got a challenge on him with a break and a new low. I can't take this. As okay as it might look, you've just got to leave that alone, unfortunately, because you never, as we've made a new low, you've got to give this a little bit of space. You just passed your 100k, did you? Good on you, mate. Good on you. Good on you. He's a national hero now. Yeah, I bet he is. Yeah, I bet he is. But I mean, it's weird what was happening, and his first instinct wasn't to shoot the guy. I suppose most people's instinct would be to do that, to pull the trigger just to stop the guy, or at least, try and kind of, stop him from doing any more. I think the butt of the gun would probably be the better option. But after seeing all that, he still didn't pull the trigger. So he had that sort of kind of mercy, that mercy thought, didn't he? But yeah, it's a sad old world, and it with stuff like that goes on. They're definitely targeted lately, aren't they? The Jewish community. I'm assuming it's backlash over Israel and the Palestinians. I'm guessing. We have a different life. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Over here in the UK, it's we don't know. We're born over here. We have such an easy life compared to some. I was talking to my daughter yesterday, and she was moaning about her hair, as teenagers do. And I said, some kids, in some parts of the world, don't even get to drink clean water, let alone have an education and stuff like that. And I don't know, teenagers only over here don't realise how lucky they are, do they? Mad, isn't it? She was moaning about she couldn't go out because her hair was in that much of a mess. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. So this isn't playing out quite like I expected. Maybe it will. It's a little bit shoulder, head, shoulder. Maybe it will come down. Trouble is, I don't like that bar there. That one, it was large. It had to have been about 18 ticks. And as we'd already had a break in a new low, you've got to give that a bit of space, because what you can see over here, if you look left, if I ever look at taking a trade, I always look left. And if you look left, what can you see right the way along there? Resistance. So it's bouncing there. So my concern was it was going to push up, trigger you, and then push up to do what else. It's another reason why I wouldn't take that, because it's already bounced twice off this area. So you've got to give that a little bit of respect. It's definitely been tricky lately, I've got to say. No, you don't. You're nothing, do we? See, their gun laws changed. I think it was a shooting incident called Port Arthur. I think it was maybe 10, 15 years ago, something like that. and they changed the gun laws dramatically. It looks like they're going to change them again, I think. Same with Switzerland, your future home, Switzerland. I travelled through Switzerland once, about 30 years ago on a train. What a spectacular place. I went well, it was longer than 30 years ago. I was 21 at the time, and I went over to Kitzbühel in Austria to work in a winter season at the ripe old age of 21. And I literally got the train from where I live. I got the train down to London, London to Dover, got the ferry Dover to Ostend, and then came down through from Belgium, Luxembourg, the edge of France, and then through Switzerland over to Austria. Fantastic. There's nothing like seeing mountains covered in snow and glassy blue lakes. Stunning. I remember sending my mum some chocolates from Geneva. Yeah, a long time ago. And then I struggled to get work in Kitzbühel. So after about 3 days, I then got the train into France and went to Val d'Isère and stayed in Val d'Isère for about 10 weeks, 10 weeks. And worked in I was a chef at the time, or learned. I just kind of finished college and that. And I worked in a hotel in Val d'Isère a long time ago. Tell you what, there's nothing worse than having a hangover at altitude. So sellers just below 855. I've already got one there. So, well, normally after this, a couple of legs up, push down below the EMA, you'd expect to target these lows and quite possibly the overnight highs. But it's a little bit messy. Chef. Well, that's what I did when I first left school. When I was probably, I told you the story before. I had a girlfriend. I was 18, I think. I had a girlfriend I was kind of madly in love with. And she was at college doing front of house, kind of, dealing with customers as they come in at a hotel. And she went to Chester on a placement to work for, I don't know, 8 weeks or 6 weeks. And she dumped me and went out with a chef. So to try and win her back, I thought I'd go and be a chef myself. So that's what I did. So I signed up for 2 years at college. And it's one of the few jobs I kind of enjoyed. But yeah. So that's kind of why I probably hung around at trading, because I don't like to lose and I don't kind of give up. So I didn't get her back in the end, but there we go. That's another story. Revenge career, that's it. Yeah. But I was a chef then for about 10 or 12 years. A job I absolutely loved, worked in some nice hotels. In fact, before I met my wife, about 2 weeks before I met my wife, I'd just been down to London and got measured out for winter clothing to work in the Antarctic. I was going over to the Antarctic. I'd had a couple of job interviews in the West Midlands, and I'd passed the job interviews, and I was going to work with a British survey team in the Antarctic on a survey base called Halley, if I remember rightly. A friend of mine had done it for the previous season. You spend 7 months out there, and then you get a gratuity payment at the end of it, and you come back for 5 months for the rest of the year. And I was probably 4 weeks away from leaving, flying out the country, and ended up meeting my wife, and that changed everything. That's why, yeah. Well, I mean, when you meet someone, you kind of fall into roles, don't you? And I started cooking as I was a chef at the time. Well, I met my wife at about 23. I think. Met her one day, moved in the next, and that was the end of that. So yeah, I still do all the cooking. Always have. It's just kind of how it works, doesn't it? Talking about cooking, I've got paella for tea tonight. I've already cooked off the onions, runner beans, and the red peppers. They're all softened. Okay, so we've got some oil news coming up. This is the chart I'm looking at. We've had a break, whether it's here or here, but we've had a break and we're moving off in a different direction. So I got caught out in this before. What's my favourite meals to make? I'll tell you what I've made a few times. Stafado. Uh, it's like a Greek stew made with kind of beef, little round onions, and cinnamon, and red wine, and tomatoes and stuff like that. I like that actually. That's what I've been doing a few. I try something new sometimes, and if my wife and daughter like it, uh, that's kind of what. But yeah, they've got me to make that a few times before. But paella is one of my favourite dishes to eat. I think it's pretty healthy. You know, it's onions, peppers, uh, green beans, kind of rice stock and stuff like that. I don't like. I'm not a massive fish fan, so I don't put any fish in it. I just put chicken in and don't tell the Spanish, but I put chorizo in it as well. I do like kind of Spanish sausage, me spicy sausage, but I know if you tell Spanish people you put chorizo in, they get very offended. Uh, so about 51 and 3/4. There are sellers there. Let's get rid of that. But I mean, being a chef was a job. I never really felt like I was at work. It just kind of always kind of came natural. It was purely by accident I did it to kind of win a girl over. Throwing the toys at the. But I do like paella, I got to say. It's a nice dish. It's like a one pot dish. My mum, about, I don't know, 10 or 12 years ago, bought me a big, it's about an 18-inch paella pan. Makes about 7 portions, so I always make a bit extra. Uh, Fixes some haggis. You like haggis? I like haggis as well. Uh, in fact, we've got Burns Night next month. I think it's next month. It's usually around the 25th of January, I think. Being a Scotch lover, uh, we always have that. Well, my wife doesn't like it, but my daughter does. He was a pizza maker for 15 years. I don't know the cook. See, I love pizza, fresh pizza. I'll tell you what else I do as well as a hobby is make sourdough. I've been making it for years. Probably make three a week. Uh, so I love sourdough. I do, and it's just much healthier than the rubbish they make you. But I find it quite, de-stressing. So as a trader, you've got to have some kind of hobby, haven't you? Okay, so 2 minutes with news. Don't stress everyone. That's just for the oil inventories news. Now, sometimes it makes a difference, but I've not traded this enough to know it is low impact news, but as it's directed specifically to oil, I'd rather just stay out of it. Now, I was trading this back maybe a year or so ago, and we had a massive spike. I didn't know what the hell it was. It came out the blue. You only eat sourdough usually. Made it a few times. Yeah, it takes a while to make it. It took me probably about 3 or 4 months of screwing it up. And then I can't get it wrong now. I've been doing it that long. I can't get it wrong. But I probably make 3 a week. My daughter loves it, and it's lovely when it's fresh, but it makes spectacular toast as well. Yeah, for sure. So we've got this news coming up. Okay, there's one I did. When was that? A few years ago. Add olives in that one, did. Uh, I've tried it with all sorts of stuff in. Uh, That's kind of another one I did. That was a few years ago. We kind of seeds on, but it is nice. It's good fun to make actually as well. Really good fun to make. Uh, but I've been making it for about 7 or 8 years, I think now. Yeah, there's another one. I have this. Well, I've changed it now. It was like an iron skillet type pan with a big top. I do it in that, but that was nearly 6 years ago. But yeah, it's good fun. You got to have a hobby. Uh, you need something to de-stress you. Okay, so news. We have had a bit of a drop down, so not a huge amount, but enough to pay attention to. If you'd have been going long there, not that you necessarily would, that may have caused you possibly a little bit of something. So, couple of legs up, bearish bar. I don't like the wick on it. We've had such a lot of this choppy stuff lately, haven't we? Actually, yesterday afternoon, that was quite a nice channel. Break new low. Ooh, I'll tell you something. Beautiful second entry short. Failure there. I'd have jumped all over that if I'd have seen it. That is stunning. Have a look at that. Okay. So, small break, new low, retest, big bullish bar, higher low, second entry short, triggered, trapped. Look at that. That's an absolute stunner, that is. What time was that? Around about 7:30 UK time. Yeah, I'm done and dusted by then. I was on my 6th whiskey, I think, by then. So I'd have been no good to anyone. So, what is going on here? Is there a bit of a range? There is a little bit. So, there are 550 contracts at around about 62, which is there. Now, that's interesting, right up at this level. Now, is it prudent to do that? Maybe. So that's sellers at 54, which is there. Would I want to get in this market? Not at the moment, really. It's just, I mean, we had the 2 legs up there and a retest. I think we pushed down 1, 2, 3 triple test. I would have said, looking at this, leg down, sideways leg down. I'd expect something like this to the new lows. The only thing that would make me a bit skeptical of that is we have a lot of contracts up here. So whether it will come back up and have another go remains to be seen. Okay, so those orders literally just disappeared. That's probably because this thing is probably on its way down. So those orders there that you can see there have just been yanked. There is... Hello? There. Yeah, there is still some there, not a huge amount. But down here, 40 and 35. So 40 and 35. So my guess is price will come down now. How it does it is a different matter. But 35 is at overnight lows. We still haven't retested the lows of the bigger downtrend. Yeah, that's what I mean. So we've got, you can see these sellers at 45 and a bit above 45. So there's about 230 contracts in this area. And there's 125 contracts at 40 and some at 100 odd contracts at 35. So my guess is price is going to come down. Now, there are some sellers around about 51. So they may be thinking if price does pull back here to the midline, to the EMA, maybe then they'll short that down. I would just be careful here. Now, 2 legs back. If we get a bull bar here, it may trigger come up and then drop. That's if it does get back up there. But around about 47, 48. There are sellers here. So, yeah, I mean, channel, new low, small push up, 2 more, couldn't get anywhere, and then a strong move down. So that's enough of an attempt to come down. So we can get rid of them. So it may pull back a little bit, but this is below the lows of that channel, and this is right at the overnight lows. A lot of contracts in yesterday midline. Yeah. assuming it was here, wasn't it? And there we go. Woof. Uh, as expected. You could see those orders there. So seeing these here, it didn't get back up here, but it did push down to there. So now we've cleared all this out. I wouldn't be surprised if we have profit taking, small pullback, and then maybe down here, we'll see. So what have I got on this oil? Not a lot, really. Oh, well, there we go. Straight down. No problem. So they're now done. So it did play out eventually. It started messing around a bit. So the trouble is when we get two legs up and then we get a strong move down, that's pretty easy and it's pretty clear. But then it chopped around a bit. So we did try multiple times to get down. So you never quite know when it's going to decide to give up and turn the opposite way. But it did work in the end. So let's put that there. Looks nice to me. And that does. I wouldn't really say that's an overshoot. We got 2 touches here. But, so let me have a look. So we've cleared all this, didn't we? We didn't get up there. So is it now going to target these areas? We've got 2 legs up, 2 legs down. Maybe we may get a second leg down there. Let's see how far that gets us down. Close to these, to yesterday's lows. Not quite there, but not. Oh, in fact, that can go down lower. So, okay, we're still not quite there. We're not far away. So maybe we have another second leg down. We'll see. Now, whenever we've broken overnight lows, I usually avoid a second entry short here, thinking we've bounced here, so it may trap shorts and push up. But I've noticed a lot of the time, people like Dan and Marco and Thomas Wade just take it. If it's a valid trade, even though we've bounced down here, doesn't mean we won't continue down. So if we do get a second entry short and I like it, I may have a go at it. Unfortunately, I don't think we're going to get up there, I don't think. So, excuse me just for a quick second. I'm just going to take a quick bathroom break. I'll be in 1 minute. The green pullback here. Yeah, it just didn't get anywhere near close enough to that EMA for me. Sometimes they'll work, sometimes they won't, but not close enough for me. You love pizza and tiramisu. Yeah, I do actually. I have thought on and off, because I was a bricklayer, about building an outside one of those pizza ovens. I have made pizza dough and pizzas before, but there's nothing nicer than making your own, definitely. And those outdoor pizza ovens cook them in a matter of minutes, don't they? But yeah, I like tiramisu as well. I don't have it much, but I do like it. Such an easy thing, pizza, isn't it? Sling it in the oven. There we go. Trying to get away from. Sure does work quick when it works. Yeah. $32.50. There are sellers. Just I can't see the point in getting in here for a short. So what am I thinking now? Maybe two legs. Close to this area. Now, after this is taken, we may get a bit of a pullback. So 820. There are buyers down there at 820, which you'd kind of expect, because 820 is around about a measured move. Let me have a look. Let's get this accurate. Yeah. 820 is more or less, in fact, I can come down a tiny touch. Not that one. It's close to this measured move. So where will that take us? It'll clear a lot of liquidity out here. Not quite the bottom lot, but once it breaks this, I'd probably expect a little bit of profit taking, maybe a little bit of pullback, and that is probably why. So, yeah, so 30 sellers at 30. I couldn't get in it here, really. This is the only place for me. I mean, there's a lot down here, so this may just drop. Who knows? Okay, this is going to sink straight to there. There's 300 on contracts. It'll go beyond it as well a little bit. There's a little bit below there, I think. Okay, so measured move as well. It hasn't quite hit that 20. It's just literally bounced off it. Okay, there we go. So that's hit that 20 level. And there was orders a little bit below this, some around 15 as well. So that's breaking this level as well. In fact, we already have done. So that's broken yesterday's lows. That's kind of where I thought may May do, especially when we're spending this much time trying to push back up, and then it just gave up and we had pretty strong move down. I don't see how you can trade this really. There is kind of two legs up, but the bar's a bit weak. Uh, and not only that, you're short in kind of right in the middle of all this. So it's just one of those things, but obviously it just came down. So kind of think this is likely to get back to the EMA now, wouldn't you? But uh, if you go long, chances are it'll trigger you and stop you out. Two doges. There is sellers just below there. Trouble is, we got almost three doges, so it may pull back and get rid of that. Might not actually. It may just push up, especially as we've cleared yesterday's lows. But it's too risky down here. I don't know how many times I've traded trades like that, and they trigger you. Look like they're going all of a sudden shoot down, take you out. Too risky. Nothing you can do with this. Big sellers at 25. Big sellers. 600 odd contracts. 570 contracts straight there. So let's see what happens then. See if they get absorbed. Look at the aggressive buyers. There's double the amount of aggressive buyers than there are sellers. So there was 600 contracts there for sale. Look like they've just been absorbed. We'll see. And all of a sudden, aggressive buyers went up to 10 million compared to 5 million aggressive sellers. They've evened out a bit now. Let's see what happens. That would be a second entry short. Trouble is, we've just broken yesterday's lows, so I wouldn't be thinking about shorting at the moment. If we got a channel down here break, it's kind of played out, really, isn't it? So you've got to give this some space. May even get a failure here. Second entry short failure. Possible failure there. There's bound to be some shorts. I don't like it there. So there are buyers there. So maybe have a leg, pull back, and another leg. Who knows? Okay, see where it goes. And those buyers have actually dropped below there. buyers around about the 16-ish level down here. Is that going to come down? The way to do that is this, I think. Not sure about that. Can't do nothing with that up there anyway. It's just too far. If you want to get short, the only way is to wait for a lower high. We just don't get one. So we've got buyers just above this area. So how far is this thing going to come down? So, I'll tell you what I will do. It's interesting, isn't it? So, with the exception of these two little pop-ups, look, touch, 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 touch. That's not fitting too bad, is it? Correction, correction. So it'd be interesting to see what happens when we get down here. So I can see a chunk. There's 223 contracts at 800 down there. Now, if that's not a place where it's going to bounce and go long, I don't know what is. So if it's doing what it's done, I mean, it did it twice yesterday. So it'd be interesting to see what happens there. Now, obviously, we don't generally, kind of work that way, but you can clearly see it's working around the midline from there. So it'd be interesting to see if that plays a part. So if it's going to bounce, this is where you'd expect it to bounce. And funnily enough, as it happens, there are contracts right at 800, which is right at the bottom of that bigger chart, bigger channel, if that's indeed what it is. So measured leg is already laid out. Let's get rid of that now. In fact, I was aware, I've just read a comment there, I was aware that Bollocks don't let you copy trade with other prop firms. I don't know how they do that, but they do know apparently. You can't do it. I don't know why. It doesn't make sense. That's the only reason I've never bothered getting any Bollocks. Never touched them for that reason, because you can't trade them with any. Now, I don't know whether how they manage it or police it. I don't know, but it's kind of how it works. And obviously, trading them individually wouldn't work for me. I barely found one trade in the last week and a half. So if I was trying to trade multiple prop firms throughout the day, I would never, it wouldn't stand a chance. So let me have a look. So there are sellers there are 100 odd contracts around about the 2.5 to 12.5 to 15. So let's start with 12.5. There are sellers there. The sellers at 15. I think that's slightly better because that would be a tick above that bear bar there. And it would be at the EMA. So if it can have 2 legs up here, I wouldn't mind going short there. If we can get 2 legs, that will confirm this channel. You find it a bit strange. Yeah, me too. They're the only company that do it. So why would you want to just think how many customers aren't going to bother because they can't, trade multiple prop firms? I can't see a reason why. Okay, this is looking positive. So channel with a break. Okay, there's a second entry short there, which is triggered. Now I wouldn't entertain that. It's looking a bit dodgy anyway. I'd like to see another leg up here. And there are sellers up there around about 18.5 and 15. So 18.5 is up there and 15 is there. So I want 2 legs up here. Yeah, Thomas Wade is literally just this second put this on. So he's looking at the same thing as me. So now I know he does watch this channel from time to time. So I like to think he's done it because he's seen me doing it, but that may not be the case. So there's going to be a fair bit of liquidity around this area. So I'd like to see a couple of legs up at least to here. That would clear liquidity there, there, and there. I can't get in any other way until it's pull that out. There's just nothing here at the minute. So let me put that there. So a little bit sideways. So break out here. I'll break out the top. It may come down. Could even bring that down to there. That may be a little bit better. It may lock the bottoms up neater. Possibly. How does it look here? Okay, second entry short, possible triple test. Trouble is, 15 and 18, we've got sellers. They're quite strong as well. Mind you, they're also quite strong at 5. But I can't take a short here for that reason. Now, they're strong there. It is a second entry short. but it's a little bit, I just have a bad feeling. I can see sellers at 15 and 18. So if it pops up above there, there's going to be a lot of liquidity there. And uh, yeah. So second entry short's triggered. It nearly got stopped out. It may hold, but I'm not taking it. It's stacking up now. So leg and a leg, we get up here, clear liquidity, and then we may get something. So I'm going to get a short order up here just in case. You can see those sellers there at 15 and around about 18-ish, 18 and a quarter. Let's put that there. So we've stopped that out. Now it's very tempting to short that. And it may well work, but look at the size of it. And we're already at the bottom, so I'm sitting tight here. I'm not interested in that. It's 23 ticks. It ain't finished yet. Okay, 24, 25. I'm not interested in 25 ticks to take that right to the bottom. It's no good for me. I know there are orders down there at 05, which may get hit. I'm just not interested. Now, you may say if I bring that up to there, I could bring this a bit closer. Then that's fine, yeah. But for me, with all these sellers up here, I think that's too risky. If we're ranging there with a breakout at the bottom, we're at the lows. I just can't bring myself to short at the lows. This might upset a few traders here. Let me see if anybody else is short in there. I think they're all chatting, I think. You can see the sellers there, can't you? At 18 and 15. Now, there are, as we know, big buyers here, but I would love this to pop up here and then drop. So let me just get this in within, oh shit, went a bit low there. Push up here, stop that out, take that out. It's going to do it. I know it will. Or is it? Or is it? Are we going to get a lower high? I'm not getting involved in it. It's clearly choppy. It's dangerous. It's going to trigger you and not get up above there. I ain't getting in. I bet you this will trigger traders with this lower high. It may well work, but for me, this is just too choppy. Wilson. Right, 2 at 06. There are big buyers at 06, which is there. Come on, get up. Fortunately, it didn't trigger. If it gets above there, I'll be a lot happier. There we go. One more tick. There we go. Now, I want this to go just a little bit higher, ideally to here. Go on, get up a bit more. Just you can see them big orders there, just below 20, around about there. Now, that may work, but I'm sitting tight here purely and simply because I can see there are a lot of contracts around here. Not, well, I say a lot. There's not a huge amount. That may work, but the only way I'd be interested if that pushed below that EMA. So I'm just sitting tight here. Let me just see where that measured move will take us a little bit higher. Now that's getting us to the right place just a little bit more. Hopefully, if that pushes up a bit, triggers some longs, hits this and drops. My order stop here, yeah. Okay, those orders are around here. There's a few more at 20 as well, so I don't want it to go too far. It's cleared any liquidity here. At some point, it's probably going to buckle. Okay, that's good. In this area here. Now, the trouble is, there's always a possibility this could be bottoming. See what happens. Okay, this is pushing into this area now. Between these two bars is where I expect it to go. Those orders are starting to drag price up. Buyers are coming in at 15, so I don't know whether this is going to start moving up.
Order cancelled.
Gotta be a bit careful now. I think the narrative has changed. Yeah, it just went a bit far. This is where I'd expect it to turn around. It still may go down. I just can't get involved here because if this is a channel, it may trigger this bear bar and push up at that kind of angle. So if you went short there thinking, okay, break, let's go short here, it's triggered you and it's moving up, where's it going, you reckon? I'm guessing there's a fair chance it may hit that. It's hard to say. And this picture before, it's just messy. So sellers at 20, which is above that bull bar, and sellers around about here as well. So if it breaks this high, there are sellers there. Are they thinking channel break new low, new high, and then down to retest? Who knows? This looks like a little bit of a bottoming pattern to me. Okay, so if that bear bar, if you'd have taken that bear bar, it came down, triggered you. There are sellers right above the stop of that bear bar. Nice broad second leg up. Come on. Can't do nothing here. It's just choppy. Holiday trading is bad. Yeah. You know, I think I don't know, about 3 years ago, I think the first year I started streaming, I had an excellent December. It's weird. Sometimes, people go on about FMC news. Sometimes FMC can be a great day. Others, you just don't know what it's going to do. But we had a leg out here. We kind of had a little bit of range. I was expecting a failed breakout, but we had orders up here, which eventually pushed up. And then there's no kind of rhyme or reason. We have a break, we go sideways, and then we just drop. So it's been a lot like this lately. Just choppy. I mean, you can see it there. There's not really much you can do there. Same here, really. It's kind of not what usually happens. We had a break here, 2 legs up. You'd expect it to push down, and we didn't. We chopped around for and that's what we seem to be doing. We don't get the usual kind of break and immediate new low. Now, when I say immediate, obviously the bigger the channel down, but those 2 legs after for the break is ample enough for traders to think typical kind of correction after a move down. But then it continued chopping before eventually it just dropped out the bottom. It's just one of those things. But, sometimes these markets are so predictable and so readable, and other times it's like you're out with a complete stranger. Multiple personalities, as Matt calls it. What can you do? You can only trade what you can see. If it's not clear, there's nothing you can do. You start trading it and you just get chopped up. You either get lucky, which rarely happens, or you get chopped up and then all of a sudden sideways, down. That bear bar there triggered bull bar. I'm surprised it didn't break above there and clear any previous liquidity, but then all of a sudden, woof, down it dropped. It triggered above. What did it trigger above that bull bar? I don't think it did, actually. It may have done. Yeah, it did. So it triggered above that one bull bar by a tick, and that seemed to kind of that was the straw that broke the camel's back, and then straight down 15 points. New low. So now we know we got buyers down here at 18, and I think there's a good chance price is going to rebound. Now, if you look at this slightly larger channel, if you go from here to say there, yeah, we've dropped out the top a couple of times here, but the bottom looks relatively neat. If you take it back to there as well. So we've got strong buyers down here. There's about 300 contracts down here and a fraction below it. So I wouldn't be shocked if that is the area where prices decided to turn. Now, I'm just basing my information on bounce. But who knows? We'll see. But it's certainly a place that could decide to turn the market northwards. So channel break. Excuse me. New low. So that's all played out now. That micro's played out as well. So we got a micro down there with a break and a clear new low. Big, strong 23 bar bull bar right off this area. Now let's see what happens here. our sellers around about there. Tell a lie, a little bit higher now. About 6, just under 6. Is this going to have a second leg? Tricky day, yeah, you're not wrong, mate. Been a tricky week. So, see if we kind of get some kind of a reaction from here. Now, these orders are starting to thicken up here. So it'd be interesting to see if this goes higher. It'd be interesting to see if this triggers as a second entry short. Now, I wouldn't take it because there is a bigger channel possibly in play, and this seems to be right where the bottom is. See those orders starting to move up now, 12.5. They're starting to try to draw price up, and there are buyers in around about 4, which is here, so it doesn't need to go down that far. So second entry short, trigger some shorts, buyers come in here, push up here. Profit taken up here, we'll see. There's a second entry short on this one. Now, I wouldn't take a short here. I was kind of hoping that bar would trigger short, giving us a second entry short earlier. Yeah, they're just trying to drag price up. There is a possible failure. Trouble is, it's made about 2.5 to 3 points. Not setting up as nice as I'd like. See if we get a failure here. Second entry long. Or high or low. Okay.
Order submitted.
There's just no space left, is there? That's the trouble. There's no room left. too big. There's no room left. So frustrating that is. See if we get a pull back. May go a bit higher, but there's nothing I can
Order
do now. The way's
cancelled.
already made. It's a shame, really, because I like that. That may push up for another leg, but already at the highs, just too risky. 22 ticks, tick above, tick below. There's barely a couple of ticks to the top. You can do there. Shame. It may continue higher, but you can't get in there. It's just too late. I can't anyway. So 15 and 16. So the orders are slowly getting dragged up. See, channel player, that's why you got to get out before the highs, because this thing's on its way back. Look. So you got in there, break new high. So channel break new high. And then all of a sudden we got a bear bar starting to come down. So if it had finished here and only got enough room, I'd have taken that. So it would have worked, but there's no room to the eyes. It's a shame, really. Tick above. What is there? A tick? Tick or something? You go a tick above, there's two ticks that you can't take it from a Pat's point of view. The fact that it's worked is kind of irrelevant, really. Now, there is a good possibility that we could get a second leg up there. And I just don't want to assume that. Unfortunately, it's just kind of the way it is. Most of the moves already gone. It doesn't matter whether it goes up 50 points. Okay, so Taylor took this on a limit order. Trouble is, once that's pushed above there, it's already made a new high. So I just can't take it. He took it down here, so he did the sensible thing and lowered his risk. But once that's played out, there's nothing I can do. It's just unfortunate. It's just kind of the way it is. The one good thing about it, it's in a strong position, right tight on that EMA. Hmm. Yeah, it does. Messes with you mentally. Yeah, you're not wrong. I like the setup. There's just no room to the highs. So it's just what I mean. It pushed up, made a new high, and then pulled right back on you. Yeah, I was aware that there's a good chance it could push up, but I can't take it based on that. You know, the rules are you've got to be out. There's two ticks. There's nothing. You don't know whether we're going to trigger above it, hit the high, and then have a break, clear out buyer's ear, clear out buyer's ear, and then maybe have a second leg. Uh, Something we do quite a lot. So you don't know whether it's going to do something like that, and then something like that. Clear everything, here once it's major profits. It's not going up super strong for me at the moment, so I wouldn't be surprised if it comes down and overlaps this area. Uh, it's not moving strongly at the moment. Mm, Dan's got that actually as a larger channel. It is kind of working along that midline. Trouble is, it doesn't necessarily help you. Are we going to push up here, or are we going to continue down in this area now? So let's see if this retraces. Yeah, so it's taken that one. See how far it comes down. That'll be the strongest one to get through. That one's got rid. That one's floating in the middle of nowhere, so I'd expect that one to probably go. Will it get down that low? Maybe not. So I want to see something like that. Below there, ideally. Okay, that's gone and that's gone. Let's go. I expect a strong move up. There we go. That's gone. So any liquidity there now is gone. That's what my concern was. Not only about that as well, if this is a bigger channel, you're going long right into the lows, right into the tops. But it did work eventually, not before it came back and give you the fright of your life. Because it is a fair old size bar, to be fair. Tick above, tick below. 6.25 points. I'm not risking 6.25 points on that bar. It's just not good enough. Maybe 6 points. $300 times 20. I'm not risking $6,000 on that one big bar. Too risky. It's not clear enough. It's just not worth it. It's gone a bit too far, I think, now, this to pull up a bit. Who knows? Let's see. It's just, I used to a lot of these types of trades I used to take before, but I've learnt now that you really have to wait. If you wait for an absolute beautiful trade, you'll win every time. Most of the time, 98%. If it's a good solid trade. Tagster, 11:30 a.m. cut off. No trades again today. Yeah, it's just not great, is it? Where's the excitement in that? Trading's not meant to be exciting. It's meant to be boring. If it's exciting, you're probably gambling. Trust me, I know what it feels like. I tell you what, some people who do have gambling problems, you can imagine they must get into so much financial difficulty. Uh, Fortunately, gambling's just never really interested me, fortunately enough. But I bet some people taking up trade and have lost their houses and everything. It's a nightmare, isn't it? So I'm going to get rid of that. There may be a small break there and a new high, but I think it's irrelevant now anyway. Got a channel there with a break, a couple of little pushes, and then big bearish bar, and eventually it dropped. So it's struggling to get up. It really is. So let's just put that larger channel in again and just see how things are looking now. Yeah, we're okay at the moment. Touch, 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 touch. A couple of touches there, touch there. It'll break out. I'm not too worried about these so much, but it's just giving me an area where things might turn. We had a strong bounce there. I thought that was the one that's taken us higher, and it came down. I could move that down a fraction, I think. Yeah. So maybe this is just a retest before it shoots. Who knows? It's just clearly struggling at the moment. Nothing on the CL. There was one on the CL that I missed. I think I looked a little bit late on this. So it was about there. What time was that? That was 2 o'clock. That's around about where I got to the charts. Now, would I have taken that? Absolutely. Clearly coming down. 1, 2, 3, triple test, failed breakout. And as I said before, usually what happens after a good setup, if it moves down strongly, which it did, it's a good, good position. And it did. I did speak to Vladdy as well. I said, would you have taken that? He went, absolutely. He just wasn't at his chart then. Yeah, I was there as well. Now, I've extended that. I did have it initially like that. So not only was it kind of a fail breakout, it was a leg and a leg break out of the channel, and then woof, down we came. And I go for 10 ticks on here, so if I'd have got in a tick below there, I'd have been out pretty much there. Straight down below, next bar, up a couple of ticks, and then down. So that would have worked beautifully. Trades like that. I took a trade like that a couple of 3 weeks ago, looked like that. That is the type of setup in the future that I want to try and capitalize and make some more profits. If I'd have just followed each bar down to about there, that's probably where I got caught out. I'd have got 16 ticks. So that's an extra sort of 60% more profit there. But in so many cases, what I'm going to do is any really good setups I see now, I'm going to put snapshots of them and keep them in a separate folder so I can look back. Uh, There is a failure on the CL, but I don't like it. It's come too far, really. I prefer a second entry short here. Trouble is, it's hard exactly to know where price is going. We had kind of the same here. It came down a bit and then reversed, so it's just a little bit too choppy. Apart from that one, if I'd have been here 5 minutes early, I'd have sent that one. Wasn't a huge risk either. So tick above, tick below. So $110, maybe $120 risk there. Now, it works out a little cheaper here to trade a contract. So what I may do, I may have got 10 ticks on that. So let's say about $110 risk. I may, if this works out well, go up to 2 contracts on this because I don't mind risking 220. That was a fair size bar. Just the way the point system works here. So I may trade half of my 20, maybe 2 contracts and the other half on one. It depends. Hmm. Some sellers around there. I don't know whether I want to go short there or not. It's just weaving up and down, really. You never quite know how far it's going to go before it takes a drop. So, if you'd have taken that one, look what's happening. It's just too tight and too low down. Take a trade like that, it wants to be over here. But that trigger, where's that going? Your guess is as good as mine, but I wouldn't feel very happy if I was in that short now. So another reason to leave it alone. So sellers at 12, 12 and a half, actually 10. Strongest ones are at 10. Actually 12 and a half. They're moving up a little bit. I don't know whether I look. Trouble is, you just don't know where it's going. It's weaving up and down. And there are shorts at 10. They keep changing. There are sellers there. And then it's constantly changing. We've not gone down any further than this, which is kind of where that larger channel bottoms out. So this may decide to take off at some point. At the moment, it's just weaving up and down, but it's respected that area. We've had a couple of attempts to go lower, and it hasn't managed to go lower. So one would think this could go a bit higher, but I don't want to base a trade on what I think's going to happen. I really want to know what I know is going to happen, or what I believe I know is going to happen. sellers all around this area. Okay, I'm just getting a bit dry and I'm a bit cold as well. Actually, might have to pop my heating on. I'm just going to take a quick 5-minute break. I'm going to make myself a cup of tea, and I'll be back. 3 to 5 minutes. Okay. What have I missed? Not a lot. This thing just wants to keep on going. Well, I just can't. There's nothing I could do there. I can't take that. It's into the lows. A few ticks to the lows. Maybe a point to the lows. It's not easy, this. There are sellers there. This thing does just want to keep going down. Big buyers at 780. Oh. I think I only saw maybe 5 high probability trades at Mac Mark yesterday. So even I mean, that was after the fact. So even he's struggling to find trades at the moment. So there are buyers at 95 there. Screenshot, then go justify my gym membership payment. How many times have you been this year? I've done that before at a gym. Mind you, last time I went to the gym, I was doing some tricep pushes, and I think I overdid it. And I felt something kind of tear or something in my shoulder, and I had a sore shoulder for a couple of months. So I'd only been back at the gym a bit, but I might start back again. There's a 24-hour one, literally, when there's no traffic, about 3 minutes from my front door. So it's ideal. But the thing about trading in the UK is I don't usually get to the charts till 2 o'clock. So I got plenty of time in the morning. I could go to the gym, or late in the evening, or sometimes early hours of the morning if I want. I've kind of got that freedom. It's cheap as well. Was it 18 pound, I think, a month, 24 hours? They say it improves confidence when people say something. So you're slightly older like me, aren't you? I'm 56 now. So there's a lot written lately about resistance training when you get a bit older. It's supposed to be incredibly good for you. As people get older, their kind of bone density starts to depreciate somewhat. So it's supposed to be good. Much better than sort of cardio. You're 26. Yeah, me and me as well. Yeah, I think you're probably a bit older than me, aren't you? Are you a bit older than me? 56, I am. I know I don't. I know what you're going to say. You don't look it. But time does go, I got to say. You're 46. Yeah, okay. Time passes you by super quick, doesn't it, when you're having fun? 95. There are super strong buyers there. Now, that concerns me whether that's going to get yanked. Does go quick, I got to say. Life does go quick. It doesn't seem like it, but then all of a sudden you sit back and you sit down one day and you can't look back and think, where the hell's it gone? I still remember the first day I went round to my now wife's house. She broke the corner off my tooth. It was back before we had double glazed windows. It was just a single glazed window, and I went up to the window, looked in like that. I saw it. I put my mouth over and went like that, and she banged the window, and it broke the corner of my tooth up. That was that was our first meeting. Didn't get on well. Mature gentleman. Yeah. I can still run 10 miles, no problem whatsoever. Just nip in the car. It's the new 46. Yeah, old is different than what it used to be. I remember my stepdad, he used to look old. He kind of wore older stuff, but now it's all different, isn't it now? Guys used to look older when I was younger. So the CL chart, with the exception of that trade there, has not really done anything. There's nothing you can do here. There was a possible second entry short, which I was looking for to trigger, because it looked like it was reversing there, and we didn't get it. It just took off. So channel break, new high, big bearish bar. There's nothing here. Now, you may argue for that lower high there, or stroke failure there, but for me, when I take a failure, I like to know I'm trapping some longs, and this is a little bit choppy around here, so I can't see you trapping many longs. It did work, but it wasn't something that jumped out at me. Not only that, it was close to the lows. You don't know if it's going to come back and have a break. Now I go for 10 points, and it would have worked. In fact, tick below there. So it would have worked just, but it's just not strong enough for me. That's a strong setup. Clearly got a channel working down there. 1, 2, clearly a triple test. I love the way it pushes up, clears any previous liquidity, including that one, and then drops comfortably below the 8. You may not even got that, but it just literally turned over and straight down. And then same again, literally a couple of ticks down and down and down and down. So that worked. And not only that, if you look there, you got a bull bar there. You got another bull bar which triggered there and down here. So you got plenty of stops to clear up, which gave you that quick, swift move down. A couple of ticks back and then another move below there. So there's loads of liquidity there. You won't go long there because it's choppy and the overall is down, which is what makes it such a good trade. Pushes up, clears the liquidity, and then turns on the spot. Now, I wouldn't even mind taking that. I think sometimes if the setup's that good, I'm not too concerned what I'm seeing on Bookmap. As long as there's not 500 contracts, one tick above there, I'm not too concerned because I think the setup's that strong. And regardless whether there's passive orders there, once that moves down, there's going to be aggressive sellers there, and I'm guessing that's kind of what happened. I could look back on, in fact, I think there is a Bookmap CL chart that runs on YouTube. I think I'm gonna have to go and have a look. Still strong buys, and there's 590 contracts here. We've got a tick or two off it, and it turned. Yeah, it's just so hard to trade this stuff because it's just literally chopping up and down. You never quite know whether you're going to get it and it's going to decide to stop you out. Without blown account is a good day. Yeah. That's my New Year's resolution, not to blow an account. I'm going to say I haven't blown an account all December. I haven't taken a great deal of trades, in all fairness. I feel very different now. Something's changed in me. I can feel it. there's kind of an absence of something and a like I've said a few times, kind of like an inner peace. I know it sounds a bit new age, doesn't it? But that's how I feel. I don't feel stressed anymore and panicked anymore, and I don't feel angry anymore. So maybe this is the start of my final run up to be a millionaire. Who knows? It's you watching me. I'm imagining with your big stick or whip. Even better, that's what it is. I can imagine you with a big whip, standing over me like this. That's just my sick mind there. uh, cheers, bud. It's nice when things start to feel good. Uh, I've got Karina in my head now with a whip. You know what happens if you blow? I do. I do. You made me smile now. Doesn't often happen at my age. Leg down, two legs up, leg down. It's hard stuff, this. It's hard stuff. I can't believe it's Christmas next week. Is it week tomorrow? God, where's it gone? A real chunk of orders there. They haven't moved. Right there. Range a bit disorganized. Certainly is, mate. Armalas, how you doing, pal? Aggressive buyers pushing the price, but as soon as they stop buying, there's no support. Yeah, it's just kind of going nowhere fast, isn't it? Hmm. Okay, just looking on this chart here, I'm not taking anything, but it's just same again. It's hard to know exactly where it's going. We've had a bit of a channel down here. I'm not super wrapped with it, to be honest with you. Uh, a kind of leg up. There is a lower high there, maybe trapping some longs, but it's choppy. It's not clear. It may come down for a second leg or it may shoot up. I got no idea. But same again, nothing I can say. The only one that has been decent is that one. But the good thing about having two charts is you do up your chance of getting a trade. So, uh, but I expect it to be a little bit quiet this time of year. As long as I'm patient, uh, I'm happy with that. It's just is what it is. You can moan and moan, can't you? But it doesn't change anything. So there's no point in stressing about it, is there? There are sellers about there. So the trouble is, it's hard even to trade it as a range. Would you want to go short there? Might not have been terrible, two legs up. But it's just a bit choppy. You don't know whether they're going to have a leg and a leg. It's just, and the more it does this, the more kind of untrustworthy it feels. Look, we start to look like we're pushing up. All of a sudden, we hit that midline and down we come. Uh, it's quite random, this, so it's just there's nothing you can do with it. How long have we been going for? 2 hours. I might do another 15 minutes, less or 20 minutes. Let's round it up to 3 hours. If nothing's going to change in 3 hours, I might as well just give up the goat, go down and start cooking. Trouble is, it's looking like it's slowly going down, but it's not going down with any conviction. And you never quite know, but when you decide to go in, it's going to do that. Buyers at 95. Trouble is, the overall's down, so I'm just not comfortable about buying. If I'm going to trade, I'd rather short this market. Added a volume indicator. Couldn't make sense of it. There's that many different indicators I've tried in the past, half the time. Seems easy now. Go short the midline and go long near the bottoms. And I mean, the trouble is, I mean, half the time we kind of know where it's going, but we need kind of a setup, don't we? And if you'd have shorted anywhere up here, God knows. But the trouble is, I always have this. I know I see a lot of trades. I saw Marco mark a trade the other day, and it was a long, but when we're coming down, the trouble is when you see we spend about 80% of the day, well, maybe 90% of the day just coming down, I find it very hard to go long, even if, I know we play range rules when it's doing like this, but I still feel much comfortable shorting than going long. But so many times you look for the bottom, it went up. Same again, it went up. Now here, look, we got some strong buying here. Trouble is, whenever I seem to get in, when I've tried this way before, it seems to trigger me and stop me out. Now, we've come off the bottom, and we've not got very high, so I wouldn't be interested in this anyway. But I'm not particularly good at trading ranges. We don't get much in the way of ranges at the moment, range days. As close as we get to a range day is this, but in the past we've had days where it's kind of doing this. But the trouble is, if you look at this, every time we hit a bottom, we're hitting at different bloody levels. It's near damn impossible. We just seem to be lately just batting all over the place. It's kind of, there's so much random stuff out there. It's just hard to, what do you do? But it's weird. It's ironic how it works. But when you decide to lose your patience and jump in, always seems to go against you. It's uncanny how it does that. But what can you do? So the thing you learn over time in the end is you have to just wait for a setup. Nothing more complicated than that. It's near damn impossible to do with the early years. Well, look at that. If you'd have got in there, woof, rock it up. What can you do though? Moved up a little bit too quick for me, that did. So there are sellers at 10 up here. Now we pushed up, bounced a couple of times, and then straight up to the top. Now, every time we get up here and we get a bearish bar, it's selling, isn't it? It's so tempting, but to me, there's no real setup there. That to me looks like one leg up or one channel up. Now, half the time we have a leg up, we have a break, we have a new high. On occasion, when we're in ranges, we don't necessarily get a break. If it pushes up close enough to the top of a range, a lot of time it will just turn over and come straight down. But I couldn't take that trade if I wanted to because we kind of pushed up and dropped out. Now, it may push up, but look at the size of some of these bars. If you'd have shorted that big bearish, but the trouble is you don't know whether that's the top, or that's the top. So when it's like this, really, by far the safest thing to do is just to sit back. It is hard to get to that stage where you can sit there patiently, but if you just keep trying, losing is a good it's a good motivator to do nothing. Okay, so it's triggered that bear bar. Now, it may well come down if you think about what it's doing up here, but because we got a channel like that with a break, taking a trade like that when we're in a channel is just, most of the time, is just suicide. And not only that, if you look on Bookmap, there's 150 contracts sitting right where that stop is. You're up 1,400 for the day on my Lucid eval. Good on you, mate. Not tried Lucid, or have I? No, I haven't. Or did I? No, I haven't. I haven't tried Lucid yet. I would like to have a go. And what I'm going to do is when I get to a payment with these accounts eventually, I may add Lucid. What I like about Lucid is they're almost identical to Traderify. The difference is with Traderify, right from the get-go, it's a 90-10 split. I think the first $10,000 with Lucid you can take without a 90-10 split. Now, I had $8,000 off of Traderify a month and a half ago, and I lost 10% of it. I'd forgotten about that, to be honest with you, but there we go. Yeah, I will. Trouble is, the thing is, I do like the straight-to-funded ones, but they're like $350 a piece or something, so if you buy 5 of them, it costs you $1,750, which is mad, really. Okay, if you obviously make it pay. But I'm pretty sure if I got 5 Apex accounts, the evals to get 5 on the go wouldn't cost me anywhere near that. But I suppose that's the privilege of straight to funded. So I'd expect that bar to get stopped out. We've got 200 contracts sat right there. Now, for me, it's a no-brainer that gets stopped out. We push up, we go sideways. I'd expect that to get stopped out all day long there. It wouldn't go like that and go up that far without pushing. There's bound to be liquidity there. And with those sellers there on Bookmap, I can see there's 195 odd contracts. We're only a couple of ticks away from it. So one tick and that stop's gone. So you get in there. Trouble is when we go, if you're shorting tops like this, really, we need two clear legs up and some real strong price action. But we go straight up and we just drop. And there's bound to be traders jumping in there, but it's so frustrating when it triggers you for a tick. And then, excuse me, then it comes down again, and then you think you got a lifeline, and then turns, and then woof, up we go. It's frustrating, isn't it? But you know. So sellers at 15, which we're nearly there now. So now touch. There's probably a bigger overall channel there. Right, channel break new high. Ooh, did we trade that as a failed breakout? It's not a huge risk. It's only 6 ticks. But I'm leaving it alone because I can see orders at 20 up here. We spent enough time going sideways, so my guess is that's just too risky. Not only that, if we have 2 legs up, which we may do, look where we get up to. So we'll see. I don't know. Some may take that. It's a relatively small. Mine's it's 10 ticks, isn't it? So it's not tiny, but a little bit of a fail. It may work, but I just don't like any of this chop, to be honest with you. Trust me, you do something, it triggers you, stops you out. You don't do nothing, it works. So I go for 3 points. How far's it got to go? So, trouble is, because that ATR is quite high today, it doesn't need to go as far. So, it looked like a tiny bar, actually, but it was still 10 ticks. I'd expect that bar to trigger, so it may work that. Yeah, it did. So, it worked. But I'm just not a massive fan. It's not super strong, but did I see something flash there? It's FOMC stuff. It's only low impact stuff. I wouldn't pay attention to that. You snagged it and chicken closed it for $250. Okay, $250 is $250. Uh, so it actually worked quite well that, but I don't know. It just wasn't a fantastic setup for me, to be honest with you. Maybe as I'm being a bit fussy. But it's the trouble is when it's choppy like that, it's so hard to have trust in the market. Uh, there we go. If that had been a bit, I mean, it was 10 ticks, tick above, tick below. It's a 3 point risk. It's kind of 1 to 1 for what I'm doing. If it had been 6 ticks or something smaller like that, I may have had a go. But I know Mac will say sometimes small risk, sometimes it's just worth a go. I don't look at it like that. I just kind of want a good setup or nothing really. But it did work in the end. I thought it was going to come back. It almost did. So I can't see a huge. I'll take that back. Uh, Probably you don't know where it's going to go. There are sellers in this area, but there are also buyers at 85 and 80 down here. So could go bloody anywhere really. There's 85. So there are buyers down. There's 200 odd contracts at 85 and the same at 80 there, which is kind of the bottom of the channel. There are sellers at 220 and 225. So that gives me an idea where other traders are willing to participate. Which is we're kind of in the middle of these two levels, which probably some reason why we're just chopping sideways. I draw a spike and a big channel. Spike and a big channel. What do you mean, bud? I draw a spike and a big channel. How do I do it? Okay, I'm going to knock it on the head there, I think, folks. Been going a little over 3 hours now. Just one of those days today, isn't it? It's not great. So, another day without a trade. So, I think when I see a good setup now, it's going to be that unbelievable. I'm probably going to hesitate. But I'm going to leave it there, folks. So, I appreciate your company. And I'll be back tomorrow, which is Thursday. And we're getting close to Christmas, aren't we? So I'll definitely be in next Monday. We'll see what Tuesday's like. We'll see what Monday's like, whether we do Tuesday or something. So I'm going to leave you guys to it. So if you carry on trading, best of luck to you. And I'll catch up with you tomorrow. Have a great evening. Stay safe. And we'll talk